There is such power in our awe of God, not only in the world, but how God works in us. Today, I want to talk with you about how we can expand that sense of awe in us and how we can make that powerful connection. We've been having a series on spiritual practices. We've talked about fasting. We've talked about being in the silence. We've talked about making sacred pilgrimages. This is the last one, although there's many more to talk about. But today, we're talking about the power of chant. And you may not be at all familiar with chant. You may think that's for some other religions and not for you. And I hope to change your mind about that. What is chanting? It is a repeated phrase that's done over and over and over again, often for hours. But it's not just a phrase, it has a melodic line to it. It's always a very simple melodic line. And it's also something that has a very powerful spiritual truth in it. So as we say it over and over and over, that truth becomes embedded in us. And so chanting has been part of the realm of religions all around the world and cultures everywhere. And I want to share some of that with you today. Now, why would you ever want to chant? Here's why. I know of no other spiritual practice that at one time engages your intellect, engages your body, engages your heart, and lifts your soul. At one time, all those things. Prayer is wonderful. It enriches our soul. Meditation is beautiful, but it doesn't necessarily involve the body too much. Chanting is the one thing that can link together all of these components of our being into one singular spiritual activity, and it becomes incredibly powerful. I want you to grasp that today. I want you to be intrigued by that today. There are many people who have been talking about chanting throughout history. One of those people is Paramahansa Yogananda, the founder of the Self-Realization Fellowship. And he said that sound or vibration is the most powerful force in the universe, to be used not only for pleasure, but as a path to God realization. Sound, you see, is sound itself. Any sound is nothing more than the compaction and rarefication of air molecules. Now, you don't have to write that down because it's not really important. But what it does mean is that air is energy. And we often talk about God as being energy. We often speak as God as the force or this divine and holy energy. So sound is a form of energy. And it's important because sound not only is a physical activity, but it sets up an energetic vibration. Charles Fillmore is the co-founder of Unity, and he said this: singing restores harmony to tense nerves because its vibrations stir them to action, thus making it possible for the ever-waiting healing spirit to get in. Now, what he's talking about, that harmonizing, it's the one activity that puts our intellect into the same street. It puts our mind, our hearts into the same street. It puts our voice into the same street. And it puts our soul all focused on the same street. For once in our life, everything is in one place. Well, I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, I am the poster boy for ADHD, so it's very difficult. Which means a desire for heavenly dancing. But it still means it's hard to focus. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, of course you do. But chanting is the way that we engage every part of ourselves in a sense of harmony. And our bodies have these areas called chakras, whether you believe them or not, they do. They're energy centers. And when we are chanting, we are activating and harmonizing all of those energy centers. So for once, when we're engaged in this activity, our lives are completely centered and focused on a powerful spiritual truth. Oh, and that's powerful. People have experienced healings through chanting. People have experienced great and grand awakenings just through chanting. I'm hoping you get an idea that it's pretty powerful. Now, you may think, well, that's for the Hindus or the Buddhists do the chanting, but actually, chanting has a long Christian history. Beginning back to the 9th and 10th centuries, Gregorian chants were created. They were part and parcel of the early church ritual, and they still are to this day the only kind of music allowed in the high Roman rite of the Catholic Church. It was always done by either men or women, or male children or female children. It's what we call monodic as opposed to melodic. Melodic, there's a melody and there's harmony, but when you chant, especially Gregorian chant, everybody sings the same note. Makes it nice and easy most of the time. Everybody sings the right note. I wanted to give you a little example if you're not familiar with Gregorian chant, because I really want you to understand that it is a deep-rooted Christian tradition. They're coming, they're warming up.
Lightness of light, ever light, ever loves, and Son of righteousness,
Now, believe it or not, that was in English. Most of you got some of those words, I think. It's a little bit like opera. It's hard to understand even when it is in English. But Gregorian chants were always, if you could tell, if you have any musical sense at all, they're in minor keys. Now, a minor key is different than a major key. Church music in the early Christian church, Catholic church, only sang songs in the minor key. And that's because major key songs were happy songs. And we're in church, for goodness sake. We are not supposed to sing happy songs. We're supposed to sing really, really sad and dismal songs because life is awful and we're deeply flawed sinner people. So we shouldn't be happy about any of that. There's not much to be happy about. So what I've done is we have prepared for you, however, a Gregorian chant for you to sing, because it has the positive truth of unity. But it's also in the minor key, keeping with real Gregorian chants. And you'd say, well, why would I ever want to sing a song in a minor key that has a unity truth to it? Well, I have one word for you: taxes. This is a time when you may not be feeling very good, and you're not ready to sing a happy song, but you're ready to know the truth. And you hope no one else finds the truth. And it goes like this. There is one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life, God the omnipotent. God the omnipotent. Okay, try singing, see what happens. There is one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life, God the omnipotent. God the omnipotent. Now I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and see if you can sing it without looking at the words, but thinking the words. There is one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life, God the omnipotent. God the omnipotent. Let's sing it one more time. There is one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life, God the omnipotent. God the omnipotent. Did you get just a taste of what that might do for you? Could you imagine if you did that for a half an hour? Just over and over again, maybe walking around Kapiolani Park or just alone in a quiet room, just humming that to yourself, thinking those thoughts. It can be very powerful. In the world, there are many native groups that have always been chanting. Native Americans, Native Hawaiians have always chanted throughout history. Their chanting began with a little different intention. In the beginning, they chanted because it was the way that they kept lineage straight. These peoples did not have written words or alphabets. And so the way that they remembered who begat who and where you came from was through these long chants that said, Alani is the mother of Ku'ipo, and Ku'ipo is the mother of Hey Noah is the Noah of Kalani, and it just goes on, on. And part of the thing you do as a child is to learn those things, because that's how you knew where you came from. It's powerful. Then it also began to be part of the way we keep history. The stories of creation and all the plans of the world were tied up into chants. And they were called oral chants, oral history and tradition. I want to share one with you from the Native American tradition. This is actually a rain chant. They had chants for everything. And I love rain, so I picked this one. Sorry. Doesn't it make you want to dance? Every Native American chant is accompanied by a drum. They're always accompanied by drums, and many of the Hawaiian chants are as well. They were connected by the drum. They always had to drum because the drum beat represented the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And when we were going to do a chant, one of the ways that we harmonized our energy with the energy of the planet was by feeling and following the beat. Now I'm going to teach you a chant you can do. It's easy. If you've been here on Thanksgiving, you probably know it already. And you can sing along because you're going to have to. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. What's lovely about this chant is that you get to make up the words you want yourself. You just look around yourself and say, gee, what am I thankful for? Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful friends. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful friends. It really can be a chant that just stimulates gratitude in your life. So you look around and just say, gosh, what am I grateful for? And then maybe you can even sing, thank you for my car, Spirit. Thank you for my car. Thank you for my car, Spirit. Thank you for my car. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful car. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful car. See, you're doing a lot of chanting today, and you didn't even know you were doing chanting today. Yeah, you might have heard about it, but in the Muslim culture, chanting is very ancient. It goes back to the times of the early creation of the Muslim faith, with their father being Abraham. And their chants are a little bit more melodic than others. They're quite beautiful. I wanted you to hear a sample of one, just so you can see how beautiful. And it's in English, and see if you can get the words, because they're really beautiful too.
The earth on which we walk, the sky above so high, is Allah's word. To Him we belong, to Him we'll return. Ya Allah, to you I pray.
Isn't that pretty? I could listen to that all day long. Do it again. Okay, one more time. Here we go.
On which we walk, earth on which we walk, the sky above so high is Allah's word. To Him we belong, to Him we'll return, Ya Allah, to you I pray.
Yeah. Very, very strong melody lines in the Muslim faith. In the Tibetan tradition, which is Buddhist, whether you're a Theravedic Buddhist or the Maharana Buddhist, they will always be chanting. In Tibet, they have developed a very incredible system of chanting that's quite phenomenal. You learn starting very young as a monk, and the goal is to have the deepest voice you can get. But not only that, they have trained people to do unbelievable things. One person can sing 3 notes at one time in a chant. I mean, some of us have trouble with the one. They can do 3. They can sing harmony with themselves. They have trained their vocal cords so much. It's very unique, and I want to give you a little taste of Tibetan chanting too. Isn't that pretty awesome? I think that's amazing. The greatest of all chants throughout the world is this simple one, Om Mani Padme Hum. The hum is actually like a H-U hook, hong, with an NG on the end, hong. If you open your bulletin, you received a little card like this. From us, we're doing these little affirmations for you every week. How many of you figured out how to read it in English? 1. Nobody. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some of you are going, how did they do that? Well, here's the secret. Turn it so that the big letters are on top and the small letters are underneath, and then read the small letters. Oh, now you see it? The small ones? What does it say? There you go. I didn't want you to forget this. And some people go, what were those words? These are Sanskrit words, and the language on top they're written is Sanskrit as well. This is the most powerful of all the chants, pretty much known throughout the major religions of the world. Om is the sound that's made as the moment of creation. In the Gospel of John, it says, in the beginning was the Word. And then what it really should say next is, and the Word was Om. Because Om is the creative force that brings all things into life. The other parts of the word, Mani means jewel. Padme Ang is part of the taking the things that are divided and making them into one. And it's really a complicated phrase. The Dalai Lama says that all of the Buddha's teachings are encased in this one simple phrase. So it'd be really a disservice for me to give you a literal translation of it. But the power of the Om is incredibly powerful. Every major chant in the Buddhist, Hindu, Sikh, and Jain tradition will begin with the word Om, because it is the first creative word. Throughout India, these songs are chanted, and I wanted to show you today a musical instrument that they use a lot to do that. It's called a harmonium. It was brought to India by the missionaries, the Christian missionaries, from England, of course, and they started playing hymns on this thing. And that just didn't quite work with the Hindus they were trying to reach. And so when the English left, they left behind the harmonium. And the Indians took it. And when you now see any group of Indians or other groups, Krishnas, any of the other Eastern religions, doing a chant in the public, they will almost always be using this instrument. It's kind of like a precursor to the accordion. It has bellows on the back. And whoever's playing will use one hand to squeeze the bellows, and then they'll I'm not very good at it, but they can do it so it really sounds good. I sound like a little... I have a very tired harmonium. It's just not quite it. I'm going to leave this down here after the service. If you've never played one or played with one, you're invited to come and do that. But I am going to teach you a chant that uses these words. Even if you don't understand them, it's really, really okay if you don't understand them. Okay? Even if you're not pronouncing them right, it's okay. There's a wonderful story that's told about a very enlightened monk who fancied himself quite a teacher in the world. And so he went around the world and he was teaching and he felt pretty much important. Humility was not his greatest virtue. He heard about this amazing hermit, and he achieved that, by the way, his status, by chanting. That's how he achieved it. He would chant for hours and he got famous. He heard about this hermit that was living on an island that was an incredible holy man. So he got in a boat and he rowed over there and he met this holy hermit and he's just going, oh, I'm so happy to be seeing you and hearing about your development. How did you achieve this enlightenment? And the holy man said, well, I do this chant. And he started the chant and it was the same chant. But then the teacher began to be horrified because it wasn't being pronounced correctly. And he said to the hermit, he said, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you've been doing everything so wrong. Let me teach you the right way. So he taught him the right way. And then he was rowing, the teacher was rowing back, going, oh, thank God I got there in time so he can do the chant before he dies correctly. And all of a sudden, the man who was rowing the boat just looked incredibly surprised, and he turned his head and he looked, and there was the hermit walking on the water. And the hermit said, oh, excuse me, sir, I forgot the correct pronunciation. What is it? I think you've been saying it okay, but he told him the right way. They said, here's the way I learned it. And so the hermit then walked across the water chanting the correct way. I love that story because what it really says is that the chant is powerful. Whether you completely understand all the words or not, whether you are completely in tune with the correct pronunciation, it doesn't really matter. What matters is our intention and our expectation of transformation. Because when we hold those things, it'll happen. Now I'm going to teach you Om Mani Padme Hum. This is one of my favorite ones. I play it in my office almost all the time. And it's very simple. It only has 2 notes. Imagine the chords will change under you, but the melody is simple. And it goes like this. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Try it. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme. Do it with your eyes closed. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. My hunch is before you came here, you couldn't chant in Sanskrit, and now you can. Great way to impress your friends. There is power in chanting. I want you just to grasp that today. Whether it still seems strange to you, I just want you to be open to maybe making your own, doing the one that seems simple for you. But begin a practice of it. And it's not something you just do 3 or 4 times. You need to do it like for 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. People chant chants for hours and days until the transformation comes. Don't give up. The last one I want to teach you is Om Shanti. We sing this every Wednesday before our prayer and healing service. It's a very great chant because it begins with Om. Shanti is a Sanskrit word meaning peace. So this is about creating peace. Not so much in the world out there, but in the world in here. It's a beautiful chant. And those of you that know it from Wednesday, you can just join in, begin to lead everyone. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Peace inside my heart, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my heart, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. I'm so excited for you because you learned at least 3 different chants today. Thank you for this day. There is one presence and one power. Actually, you learned 4. Om Mani Padme Hum and Om Shanti. I want you to do that because I want you to chant, to quicken the God presence in you. Quicken means to bring alive so that you can feel it. Would you say this with me a couple of times? Let's speak it out loud together. This is the truth we know and we teach. Together, I chant to quicken the presence of God, the God presence in me. Okay. Now we got to do it twice more so I can get it right. I chant to quicken the God presence in me. One more time, we're chanting now. I chant to quicken the God presence in me. That's the reason to do it. For you. Will you close your eyes with me for a moment, please? We are so grateful, God, for the ability to chant. We're grateful for the teachings about chanting. We are mostly, deeply, profoundly grateful for the chant that you are always giving to us in our heart. A chant that says, I don't care where you've been, I don't care what you've done. A chant that says, I love you. I love you. I love you. In these quiet moments, help us to hear that chant, to know it's from you. As we sit together here in these moments, in the sacred and holy silence,